Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm a producer and husband, Fuzz Martin.
Hey.
Hi. Ho, ho, ho. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah. Last week before the holidays.
It is. It is episode 41.
Whoa. If we would have done...
It feels like such a weird number to end a year on. The end of 2019. We're on episode 41.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of worked out because we've pretty much only taken off, a few weeks in the summer and a few holidays.
Yeah.
I think there was one where we needed a mental health break.
Right.
And that was it.
There was spring break in there. But
yeah. Yeah. I mean, just
so
kind of
we did 26 episodes from January to June.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started right up with 27 and now we're at 41.
Yeah. Here we are.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. So here we are, last episode of 2019.
Yep.
Coolness. And then we'll be back with episode 42 in the new year.
Yeah.
In 2020 will be that, it just comes off as weird. I feel like I could have planned the numbers better. But
I think it's just fine.
Okay, cool.
It's just a number.
I hope that you're all okay with that too.
Show number ain't nothing but a number.
This is true.
And
41 problems.
Yeah. If I would have recorded one episode a year
for your
since
lifetime.
1978, I would have.
Hey, didn't your parents and my parents used to record me on a tape deck? My dad would record me as a kid. Tapes. There's tapes of me talking as a little kid.
There are tapes somewhere. I don't know where. Hopefully they still exist. Of me doing a fake radio show when I was
with your cousin?
8, yeah.
Nice.
And that ended up turning me into being a real radio personality for 15 years of my life.
So, you never know. You never know where your things will lead you.
No.
Your little endeavors. So.
Like the 41st episode of Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How was the Slate conference?
It was so much fun.
Yeah. I
really enjoy going to Slate conference every year. It's a great way to kind of catch up with teachers that I only see at conferences. There's a few teachers that I see at conferences. And then it's always kind of refreshing just to hear fun keynotes and be with like-minded people and then learning about fun new technology tools all at the same time. So I always find it very enjoyable. And I got to present a little bit and load down my session with tech tools because on the podcast, I talk about 2 each week and we kind of go about them in detail a little bit and how I use them in the classroom. But this was an hour of me going as fast as possible to give teachers as many resources as possible because I know as a teacher, I am one to give me all the information and then I will go figure it out myself kind of a person. So that's kind of how I present. So I loaded my session with 25 websites in an hour. Here's an hour. We're going to go through 25 websites and how you can use them in your classroom.
Yeah, that's great.
But it was good. It was very fun. And actually some of the tools we're going to talk about today I heard in some of the other sessions.
Oh,
which
great.
is kind of cool.
Yeah,
so
that is cool.
I'm going to share out some of their information. So this week... our theme, because love a theme, and the week before break is chaos. Even if you're organized and you've got plans, everything gets thrown out. Oh, by the way, these kids are going to need to be pulled out for a concert for 5 minutes, or these kids need to go help the elementary kids, or hey, these classes need to be switched out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you have all your lessons planned? Great, because then we're going to cut it off and make it a half day on Friday. And we're going to run a different schedule.
Right.
It's just how it is. So instead of trying to give overloaded sites of information, I decided that we're going to do teeny tiny tech this week.
All right.
You're like, what does that mean?
What is teeny tiny tech?
So basically, we're going to talk about 3 different websites that can be just thrown in to your classroom. You could use them anytime for tech tools into your class, but this week it might be in particular like, oh, hey, I have 15 minutes and I still want to do some of my lesson piece, but I need something quick to throw in there, so they're just like little tools to kind of enhance a lesson that you're already doing,
Sure.
or kind of save the day if you need something kind of fun to play around with. So that's what we're doing this week.
All right. Teeny tiny tech. Schnazzy.
Yes. I feel like I should just start like a checklist of like the words,
like the
that
bingo.
I use. Yeah. What's she gonna say today?
Yeah. I was at a work 2-day all day work meeting, and a woman there said snazzy twice. She didn't add the CH.
You added the schnazzy.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it needs to be schnazzy. And then if you say schnazzy, we'll get you a t-shirt. That's a schnazzy.
There we go. I should have done that. Actually, she would have appreciated that, I'm sure.
Well, we'll get her a t-shirt. So the first website we were talking about is Mentimeter. Mentimeter. It's one of those sites where you can like pay for it, but why? So you can like upgrade and do like, they even do branding and colors. Like you could really go all off with this website, or you can just like click on the free thing and say try it out, and then you just try it out. So Mentimeter, what you do is it's like a presentation site, sort of like you can have slides, like a slide deck, and put your information in. I have used it in the past, and one of the teachers or groups of teachers were using this at Slate.
Okay.
And they just pose one question. So instead of doing a whole slide deck, you can just present one question.
Sure.
And then you have your audience, they have a code to type in, and then they type in the response.
Okay.
So in my session, they used it for like collaboration in the classroom or something. But you could throw this out for students. So you click on it, you click like create, and then you can create your slide deck or just one slide and pose a question. And then as students respond, it makes a word cloud with their 1 or 2 word responses. And the more times kids say it, the bigger it becomes in the center of the word cloud. So you can see if students are having similar responses or if they have different responses. And it's a really quick way to see if your students are understanding what's going on.
Sure.
Or if you're kind of just polling them for information. I put one, and I'm going to I'm going to put it up. On
Add it to, post it on
Twitter or
tweet it.
Facebook,
I'll tweet it out.
I'll probably put on the blog too. But I put like, how do you prepare for the holidays? And then I just typed in like cooking, shopping, and wrapping. And then other people can respond with their responses to what they do for the holidays, and then the cloud builds. And then the cloud builds. And it's kind of fun. You can see how many people have responded. So there's a bunch of different ways you could use this in your classroom. You can pose several questions and like have students interact with each one. But I kind of like just like one overarching question at the end, like a quick formative assessment, like, are you understanding what's going on today? That could be a yes, no, or a maybe. And you can get a real quick understanding. If yes is giant, cool, we can move on. If there's a giant no in the middle of your board, clearly you need to reteach what you're doing. So Mentimeter, you just sign yourself up. You can use the free version and play around with it. If you really like it, you could upgrade and do all of that kind of stuff. And then there's details, but you just click on slide deck, create. It's on the left-hand side of your screen. You can pose your question, type it in, and then they give you just go to menti.com and you type in the code. So like if you wanted to try it, you just type in menti.com, type in the code, and then you could put your vote in for how you prepare for the holidays, and we could see what your responses are too.
Napping.
You do a lot of napping during the holidays. Well, yes, we eat big meals, we all hang out together, and then
I nap. I nap pretty much every weekend, pretty much Saturday and Sunday. And you know what? Looking back on my life,
you've napped all of the time.
My dad was a napper too.
Well, there you go.
The menti.com, by the way, is menti.com.
Correct.
I don't know how else you would spell menti, but
menty.
men.
It's like Mentimeter, mentimeter. .com. Versus Menti. But yeah, menti.com, and you type in a code. If you want to vote on my holiday one, you could do it without even looking at it. And it's just menti.com, And the code for mine, for the holiday, the question is, how do you prepare for the holidays? And the code is 612971.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to type it in can.
612971.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Check it out.
So try Mentimeter. It's a really quick way to get some student feedback and kind of fun. And you could pose like fun holiday questions with the kids, like how many reindeer are there, and then make some up crazy things, or or how many snowflakes do you think are like falling outside right now, and have them guess things like crazy numbers. And it would just be a fun way to vote and put information in, and it's a quick way to engage students in a question. So you can build that in wherever you'd like to and gather information.
Napping.
Look at that. You added napping and it shows up right away. Super easy. You can do it in a second.
Cool.
So that's our first teeny tiny tech tidbit.
Yeah.
Hey.
What?
How far can we do this if we're in a teeny tiny tech tidbit?
Today?
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. Next up in our teeny tiny tech tidbits for today. So far we've had 2 teeny tiny tech tidbits today. Tomorrow? Or tonight. Yeah. Okay, we've lost it. The second one is roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
It is rollthedice.online.
Okay.
All together, rollthedice.online. Create an account, and it's an online dice creator. When I first looked at it, I was kind of like, I don't get it. And I don't know, it's my brain. I was like, I don't understand. That's because you can make any kind of dice you possibly could want. So you can create, they have like popular dice that other people use. And then there's dice by users, rolls by users, but they have a 10-sided dice. They have a 2-sided dice. They have number dice. They have crazy dice. You do have to be aware though that like as a teacher you're creating an account, don't just randomly let the kids pick dice, because like adults can create these dice too. So be aware there's a category literally labeled adults, so just be aware it's a dice game that anybody can create dice for. But they've got Pokemon dice and Halo dice. I don't even know what that means, but
heads or tails.
Pet dice. Can I get a dog, a cat, a kitten, a bunny, and then roll the dice, and that's your family's new pet? Questionable. So when you create a dice, you just go in, you sign up, you go to your dashboard. Once you're there, you can just go to custom dice or click your choice dice or add dice. So you upper right, you click add dice, you give it a name, an identifier, a description. You can do private, so only users with the link can view it. So that would be my suggestion for your classroom. So just your students can see the dice that you're creating. Send them the link. But then you can select a category. Education is one of them. You can pick how many faces it has.
Okay.
So you can pick like 10-sided dice and then give them 10 different choices. So my thought is like if you're doing dice, you can always do like if we're doing a workshop like reading, writing, whatever. Or you can have choices for like story starters, like roll a dice and this is how our story is going to start. Or you can roll a dice, and there's a teacher on here that had math problems on there, and they kept rolling the dice, and like the first 4 that you roll, those are the problems that you have to figure out for math today. So you can do all kinds of things. It's create your own dice, and then it's just online, and it literally you just click it and it gives you a random answer. It's like a random answer generator basically.
You could use it for picking students to speak, do their speeches. You could use it for
or group numbers for like who goes first,
generating story ideas or character prompts or things like that.
Or like journals for the day, or there's so many ways that you could create random dice.
You can put emojis on them and all that kind of stuff too. It says it right here in the thing you
in the free version though.
I don't know. It says it right here on the thing that you showed me. Maybe not in the free version.
I did. It's in there. I'm not sure if it's in the free version. But there are lots of options. Like you can put all kinds of things in there. You
can figure it out on the free side, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. You can still make emojis.
You can assign a number to an emoji.
You just do a colon and then
parentheses.
You can make your own smiley faces.
For
you can
sure.
Make 'em. But yeah, so roll the dice. Just really quick, easy way. The Wheatland Center Schools teachers talked about this at Slate. Like, oh yeah, they use it all the time in their language arts classroom. And I was like, oh, that's a fun tool. So props to them.
It's rollthedice.online. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, rollthedice.online. Anyway, so easy way to create dice, and you can have your students create some, and all different ways to use it. So that is our number 2 teeny tiny tech tidbit for today, tomorrow, or to eternity. I need another T word.
Tuesday.
Team.
Tremendous. Terrific.
Well, and it goes with our next one. So our next today's teeny tiny tech tidbit is...
Keep on swinging there.
Tweet Gen.
Oh, yeah, Tweet Gen.
So the third final one today. Tweet Gen is awesome. So if you were a teacher, and I don't know how different schools are doing different things with cell phones. Some allow them, some don't. Some allow them certain times. There's all kinds of technology, rules, unrules. TweetGen is a tweet generator that you don't have to have your phone out for. You can do it on a Chromebook. So it is so fun. I was creating tweets today and showing them to you, and you're like, what are you doing? That's not your actual Twitter account.
Yeah.
What you can do is you go to TweetGen, so TweetGen.com, and it's a fake tweet generator. You click on the little blue box. I guess it's kind of larger. It's in the center. Your students can find a profile picture. They can create their own, or make one. But the thought is, like, if they're creating characters, so if there's a character from a book that they're reading, they can find a picture of that character or what they think the character looks like, and create a tweet coming from the character. Anyway, so you could type in whatever name you're going to use, the username or your Twitter handle. You can click if it's a verified user. You can click if you're following them. Like, it mocks up the entire, and even talks about, like, on the site, how they try to keep up with all of Twitter's latest, like, upgrades. So they constantly are making it look exactly like a real Twitter, Twitter tweet would look. Tweet content. It tells you it limits your characters and everything like normal. You put in your own fake time, your own fake date. You can number of replies, number of retweets, and number of likes. So, like, you create everything for the tweet, and then you click generate image, and it makes an image of a fake tweet, which is so cool. There's so many ways you could use this. If you're, like, reading novels this week, or your students are in a book club, or if they're doing something, they could tweet character responses to one another, like book reviews, and it was short blurbs. I mean, obviously tweets are like a quick piece of information, so a quick book review, they could pose problems to one another, like if they're going to tweet out, like, there's an issue with blah blah blah, if they're doing some problem solving stuff, or if they're, like, my groups are in the middle of inquiries right now, and they're they're inquiring, but they're digging into, like, national parks and how humans are impacting national parks. So throwing out a tweet about how there's, like, how humans are impacting national parks, if there's wildfires, if there's pollution going on, if we're tracking hunting, and they're talking about endangered animals. So they could tweet out quick bits of information from their research, and what an easy way to have a formative assessment that day. Right. Like, show me in this many characters what you know. Yeah. And screenshot it and email it to me, or screenshot it and turn it into Google Classroom, because it downloads it. So they could just throw them all into Google Classroom super easy. Yeah. And how fun is it for them to be tweeting but not have to have a real Twitter account, and you don't have to worry about like parents and those who can and can't have phones, and, like, those types of things. So TweetGen. So fun. Yeah. It's a fun little tidbit.
And you can even make it like account suspended or account blocked. You can do a couple things with it. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I think that for something fun to do, if we're getting through a week, and there's a lot of crazy going on, but a great way to keep them still engaged and having fun, and you could use it in any content area.
Yeah.
They could tweet about, whatever they got going on, and that would be kind of fun to do.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun.
So those are our teeny tiny tech tidbits
for
on this Tuesday.
Yes. It's not Tuesday.
It's not Tuesday.
I mean, it might be as you're listening to this. It might be Tuesday.
Or it could be Thursday.
Today, though, is not Tuesday for us.
Also true.
As we're recording it.
But it's teeny tiny tech week.
It is.
And it is our last episode of 2019.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Hope you have a very happy holiday break.
Yeah. And we will see everybody back at the start of 2020.
Whoa.
With some tech tools for teachers. Yes.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in for the year of 2019.
I appreciate your dedication.
Yeah, I try. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter @SmartNWI or on Facebook. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com. Use that EdTech Directory. It is there. Share it with others. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed in this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we hope they do, and we'll talk to you again in 2020.
2020.
See ya.